Hey guys, today's video is a little different. I will be reviewing a pre-bought cosplay from RoleCosplay and showing how I made modifications to it and how I made Zhongli's weapon, Vortex Vanquisher. Full disclosure, this cosplay is sponsored. The cosplay overall is very nice. The detailing in different types of fabrics and materials is very nicely done, and the screen printed designs on it add a lot to the look. If you wanted to keep this as is with no modifications, it would work perfectly fine, but I wanted to show you how I added my own personal touch to this cosplay. So, let's get started. I first gathered all the accessories that were sent to me with the cosplay. They were okay, but a bit fragile and not that long lasting. To upgrade them, I 3D printed out his accessories with the help of some files from Dangerous Lady's store. I will add a link to the description on where you can find these and also their pre-made kit if you do not own a 3D printer. To make the yellow resin gems pop a little more, I am using gold origami paper as a backing. I used Duro superglue to attach them also. You can find this brand at Walmart. Adding the origami backing will make the gems more reflective and overall add a bit more depth to the look of them. Simply cut them out and adhere them down to your gem bases. With the gems applied, we can now start painting. I am using pearl acrylic paint here on the details of the vest buckles, along with some dark tan and multiple coats for the outer edges. For these squares that'll go on the bottom of the cosplay, I am painting it with a silver base with a layer of rub and buff. Rub and buff does emit some fumes, so work with it with caution. These pieces will go on my calves of the cosplay, and I'm just adding some black acrylic paint to the inner depths of them to bring out a bit more detail. For the backing, I removed the clips from the accessories that were sent with the cosplay and glued them down to the backs of the new ones that we made. Lastly, I am combining the vest buckle pieces together with some super glue. For the tie, I added on the tan diamond to the piece of fabric already on the tie and also replaced the gem in the center in the same fashion. The bead on the tassel was a bit too small for my liking, so I removed it and added on these much larger ones that we printed out. Then I tied the tassel onto the silver squares we painted earlier and glued the silver squares down into place. I replaced the cloth black gloves that were sent with the cosplay with some pleather ones, and glued down the gem to the backs of the glove. Be sure to bend your fingers into a fist to get a proper alignment on where you want to place the gem on the glove. And with that, the accessory modifications are complete. Now, onto the staff. To make the pattern, I took 4 sheets of printer paper, laid them out, and taped them together. I will be freehanding this pattern, but I have included a link to the image for you to print out yourself if you plan to make this. For the pole of the staff, I am just using a PVC pipe. I went ahead and grabbed that and traced the outline of the edge of it as my starting point. Once that was outlined, it was time to just start sketching everything out. This part is pretty self-explanatory, so I would just let the footage roll. If you do plan on sketching something like this free-handed, be sure to have plenty of references. I myself also used some extra 3D printed squares to help with proportions and some cardstock to help with straight edges. I make sure to darken the sections of my draft where I'll be needing to cut them out later. This helps me not to forget to do that and not accidentally cut out something I wasn't supposed to. Same process goes from the bottom of the staff. Outline the PVC pipe and then just begin sketching. Now with this complete, it's time to cut this thing out. I transferred the base section of the staff over to some Yaya Han 5mm foam. We will be doubling this, so we need to cut out 2 of these. To cut these out, I simply just use a box cutter to cut out the shape of the foam. Now with my 2 sides, I coat the inside of them both with contact cement, making sure I get it everywhere. Then, I just set it aside and let it dry. Once dried, you could squish them together and they should stay firmly as one. It's looking a little rough, so it's time to sand down some edges using my Dremel to bevel it all out and add some details. Please, wear a respirator when doing this step. Now that it's all sanded, we need to apply some heat with the heat gun to help clean up the foam and heat seal the foam. This will help later when it comes to painting and priming. For the layered sections atop the foam, I cut out that section of the pattern and transfer it to 2mm foam. With that done, we can go ahead and super glue everything into place, including our 2D printed square from earlier. To add more detailing, I am using a heat wand and scoring lines and sections around the staff. This creates a bit of smoke as well, so please use a respirator for this as well. For the outer blade of the staff, I transfer my pattern onto 3mm foam. I repeat similar steps for this section as well as I did for the base of the staff. Once done, all you need to do is simply glue it down to the base. Now in order to attach this foam part to the PVC pipe, I am using strips of Worbla. I heat them up and wrap them along the edge of the pipe, then take my strips of Worbla again and wrap them around the pipe and the foam end. Having this attachment from the Worbla and the foam will help the overall sturdiness of the staff. Using a half foam dowel, I begin gluing it along the Worbla connection we just did to add some raised layering. I also take the foam dowel and wrap it around the pipe as well for these two raised sections. On the end of the pole, I cut out a rectangle of 2mm foam and glue it to the end, making sort of a cap. I take one more 3D printed square and some excess of the foam dowel and glue them down to the base. Using our pattern and some 3mm foam, I make the sharp tip of the staff and adhere it on. For the wrapping detailing the staff has above the diamond gem, I am freehanding it and just cutting out a rectangle and adjusting it as I need it with 2mm foam. Lastly, I add on some score details with my heat wand. And now the staff was ready for some priming. I used Plasti Dip as a base coat and then sprayed the very edges with yellow spray paint in order to make the hand painting a little easier later on. For this, I am using a mix of yellow, orange, gray, and black acrylic paints. Any kind will work really, use what's most available to you. I've had these paints for years now. Everyone's painting process is different, so just go at it until you feel like it looks right, and make sure everything is properly covered. I needed many layers to get the right look I wanted. This part's really relaxing and, just have fun with it. And with that, the staff is done. I hope you liked this video. It was a joy to get to wear Zhongli for RoleCosplays, and if you wanted to get this cosplay yourself, I will leave a link to their store in the description with a discount code as well. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.
Ah yes, his famous attack.
And now I'm going to Photoshop a meteor coming down.
Yes, wind. Yes. Oh yeah, perfect.
Don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me. I have the power of God, the Geo Archon on my side. Ah! I have the power of Lex Lapis. Rex Lapis?
Rex Lapis, yeah.
Lapis? Yeah.